So how do you diagnose adrenal fatigue and how do you treat it? Let's talk about it. Conventional medicine does not recognize adrenal fatigue. Why? Because while adrenal fatigue is not optimal functioning, it is not actually a disease. Allopathic practitioners treat diseases. Complete adrenal failure is called Addison's disease or primary adrenal insufficiency, and it's most often caused by an autoimmune condition in which the adrenal cortex is destroyed. So your adrenal glands no longer produce cortisol. You need cortisol to survive, so you're given synthetic cortisone for the rest of your life. But why wait until you have full-blown Addison's disease? Why not stop before you fall off the cliff? To properly diagnose Addison's disease, blood tests are done. And if cortisol levels are decreased and adrenocorticotrophic hormone levels are increased, then a acronym stimulation test would be used to confirm the diagnosis. Adrenal fatigue can be a little hard to diagnose. We don't have any classic measurements. There is a decline in adrenal function that affects your ability to function. Adrenal fatigue is when you're producing low levels of cortisol either all day or you don't have enough precursor to produce enough cortisol when you exercise or when you react to a stressor, or enough cortisol to release stored sugar when you need it. So we diagnose adrenal fatigue by your history, looking for signs and symptoms. Are you fatigued, especially in the afternoon? Do you have fatigue all day long? Are you getting dizzy when you stand up because your blood pressure is bottoming out? It means you're not producing enough aldosterone. Are you gaining weight around your middle? You may have lost weight in the beginning of your adrenal stress, but then you start gaining weight. Typically, it's right around your belly. Do you have metabolic markers in your blood, like high levels of CRP, cardioreactive protein, that indicates inflammation? Blood tests can be done to measure your cortisol and your ACTH levels. ACTH is the acronym for adrenocorticotropin hormone. ACTH is necessary to tell the adrenal glands to produce cortisol and other hormones. Cortisol levels follow a natural cycle throughout the day. They're highest in the morning. So most likely your healthcare provider is going to want to draw this blood around 8 a.m. But if you get really stressed by getting a blood test done, you can have a little surge of cortisol, which will make it look like it's normal, but it really isn't normal for you. You don't have any reserve. So what helps me diagnose adrenal fatigue is to look at DHEA levels. When your body produces adrenaline in response to a stressor, you then start to produce cortisol. That fuels your fight or flight response. Now, after cortisol is produced, you produce DHEA, which is an anabolic hormone that helps you metabolize protein and fat. It literally helps you heal up any damage done from either running away from the danger or fighting it. So measuring DHEA, both unconjugated forms, that looks at your reserve, and conjugated forms of DHEA sulfate, that's the active form, it gives us an idea of your cortisol reserve. Cortisol can be measured in your saliva too. Adrenal function tests require multiple saliva samples throughout the day. Again, you may not be able to see super low cortisol function. If the day that you measure cortisol is particularly stressful, you can have some spikes in cortisol, even if your adrenals are really fatigued. Remember, adrenal fatigue is not complete adrenal failure like Addison's disease. You still have some adrenal function. So diagnosing adrenal fatigue takes a little bit of finesse. I always look at some of the other hormones that give me information about the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal response. But we're going to mainly look at the signs and symptoms. Adrenal fatigue is recognized by integrative medicine as a treatable condition. And integrative medicine recognizes less than optimal functioning as something that can be improved through better lifestyle choices, detoxification, and supplementation. Adaptogenic herbs, B vitamins, essential fatty acids can help your adrenal glands recover. Glandular products are also useful initially to support adrenal function. Sometimes bioidentical cortisol and DHEA are prescribed to supplement your adrenal function. I believe the body will heal itself if it's given the proper nutrients. So first I recommend a foundational support to heal the adrenals as well as the organ systems that are affected by stress. Getting the adrenals function properly will stop the hair loss, the weight gain, and aging, but the body needs extra nutrients to grow hair and healthy skin, improve your body composition, to increase lean body mass and decrease body fat, and optimize your health. Then I recommend hypothalamic support to improve communication system between your adrenals and the brain. Supporting your hypothalamus allows it to orchestrate the rest of the endocrine system as well as the neurological and the immune system to harmonize your symphony of hormones and your neurotransmitters and cytokines or immune factors. That way your DNA dances optimally in health and well-being. So yes, I do recommend adrenal glandulars and adaptogenic herbs to boost adrenal activity, but revving the engine without providing gas and oil will burn out the vehicle. So Genesis Gold is the fuel that your body needs to detoxify, rebuild, and heal itself. And the Sacred 7 amino acids provide the hypothalamic support to optimize genetic function. For my patients who do need a little extra support during times of stress, I've developed a natural treatment protocol for adrenal fatigue. And it includes extra adrenal glandular support and extra adaptogenic herbs and essential nutrients, plus some homeopathic adrenal cortex with full instructions on how to use the supplements. I call it my DMAR natural adrenal therapy. And it is a great rescue measure until your hypothalamus can get back in balance with Genesis Gold and Sacred 7. So please check out my next video on adrenal fatigue signs and symptoms.